Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Human, extraterrestrial, living beings. My favorite flavor of Red Bull, and one of my favorite shirt songs, and shorts, and Crocs. Alright, that was cringy. So today, I'm going to be reading you The Slow Pulse, which is an articulation, my articulations on disease, like strokes, cancer, and how life is impermanent. And for my second entry, I will be reading to you guys about the Vedas. What is the Vedas? The Vedas are ancient texts, sacred ancient texts. Think of the Bible, but not really. If you want to learn more, please look up the Vedas, Wikipedia. It's very, very simple to get your basic research and knowledge in. But I have two journal entries, the Slow Pulse and the Vedas. Thank you for watching this video, and let's just get right into it. Poke along if you are. Glasses off for this. Spoke a little bit. Okay. The Slow Pulse. There is a rhythm to illness, an invisible metronome tickling beneath the skin, unseen yet inevitable. Cancer creeps in like a slow betrayal, cell by cell, mutating, fracturing the delicate architecture of the body. History records it as a silent invader, a shadow in the annals of science, a puzzle that humankind has chased for centuries. Egyptians carved its presence in papyri. Greeks named it from the shape of crabs, legs sprawling into tissues, pinching, gripping, and we watch, always watching, as it spreads beneath membranes and bones, a slow rebellion against the fragile order of life. Disease has been our companion since the first breath, a reminder that flesh is not infinite. Plagues and fevers, rashes and poisons, invisible particles tearing through cells, minds, towns, civilizations. It is a story of fear and awe, of meticulous study and frantic experimentation, of bodies mapped and dissected. We have always sought to name it, to understand it, to contain it, yet it moves like water through our grasp, dissolving certainty. Strokes are sudden, violent interruptions of the flow in your body, in the human body, in the living being body. It doesn't matter, actually. Pretty sure animals get strokes. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong here. Arteries construct blood misfires. The brain jerks against the skull. Neurons screaming, synapses disconnecting. The history of strokes is history of the body's betrayal. Silent until it explodes, devastating in its clarity. Physicians have traced it, studied it, recorded it, yet even with all the knowledge, it arrives without prelude, a reminder that control is an illusion. Together, these afflictions are a narrative of mortality, a cruel symmetry between time and tissue. They are evidence that the body is fragile, that life is tentative, that every heartbeat is borrowed. We chase cures, we write papers, we chart statistics, but there is a terror beneath it all, the creeping awareness that decay is inevitable, that pain will arrive, and that the mind watching the decline cannot fully comprehend or resist it. This is the anatomy of fear, the architecture of vulnerability. Each disease, each stroke, each creeping mutation reminds us of impermanence. We build walls of medicine, shelters of knowledge, defenses of ritual and observation, but the pulse beneath remains relentless. It is a slow, painful truth. Life is fragile, the body finite, and every second carries the weight of its eventual collapse. Still we live, we breathe, we observe, we tremble. The history of illness is the history of our attempt to understand the uncontainable, to map what cannot be stopped, excuse me, to name what refuses the limits we impose. And in that trembling, in that fear, there is a pulse, a fragile, unsteady human pulse, that insists on existing anyway, however briefly, however painfully, however inevitably. Part 2, Pulse of the Unseen, a meditation on decay. I can feel it under the skin, the pulse that isn't mine, creeping, crawling, fat-curing every cell with a slow, deliberate patience. Cancer, they call it, an army moving in silence, reshaping flesh, rearranging the body's blueprint without permission. Every heartbeat is an alarm, every breath a countdown. History tried to name it, tried to capture it in symbols and papyri, in Latin and Greek and medicine journals, but nothing holds it, nothing stops it. It grows, metastasizes, mutates while we watch, while we shake, while we pretend to be immortal. Disease whispers in alleys, in marketplaces, in hospitals where walls hum with fluorescent lights and despair. Plagues and fevers and bacteria and viruses, they coil inside us, invisible, patient, relentless. Every century records the same horror. We think we understand. We think we have control, and yet it moves faster than our comprehension can handle. It knows our weakness, our fragility, our obsession with being alive. One moment the mind is fluent, flowing, imagining, and the next it is fractured, broken, paralyzed. The body becomes a stranger, a traitor. History has catalogued it with ink and scalpel, but nothing in books can prepare for the lightning strike of helplessness. Every organ is a landscape of fear, every cell a battlefield. I can feel the slow decay, the creeping erosion of certainty, the whisper of mortality pressing beneath ribs and skull. Time becomes both enemy and accomplice. Every tick is a step closer, every thought a mirror reflecting what cannot be avoided. The slow, painful awareness of inevitability. I try to organize, to rationalize, to measure, to name. The pulse is louder than words, louder than history, louder than the futile walls we build around ourselves. This is the anatomy of terror. The body betrays, the mind panics, and history only records the aftermath. Cancer grows, diseases spread, strokes strike. The body reminds us every second that it will fail, and that the mind witnessing the failure is as fragile as the flesh it inhabits. Yet I'm still alive. 20 years young, some say. As I breathe, trembling, fractured, and aware, the pulse continues chaotic, unstoppable, human. We catalog, we dissect, we theorize, but the decay remains. It is relentless, it is intimate, it is personal. Every heartbeat is both horror and miracle, every cell a monument of fragility, every thought a scream in the dark corridors of inevitability. Still somehow life insists, it flickers, it quivers, it refuses to be extinguished, even as it bleeds. Now, I would like to present the Vedas. And if you're into spirituality, you almost 99% chance there that you should know what the Vedas are. And Buddhism, of course, and Hinduism, and all these different things where we're supposed to be expanding our minds to be at its highest potential, the highest version of ourselves. My lighter is burning me. So, we have the Vedas. They vibrate through the cracks of time, older than dust, older than the walls of the mind, older than the concept of you. Rig Veda screams first, a riot of sound and thunder, gods lined up in a parade that doesn't end. Hymns spit themselves across the air like sparks from a short-circuiting wire. Every syllable a shard of fire, every meter a heartbeat fracturing into 1,000 echoes. It is worship and philosophy and panic all at once. You can almost see the priests leaning over the flames, chanting into the night, trying to pin infinity into a syllable. Then the Samaveda sways, like wind through wires, like light sliding across cracked glass. It is music, pure oscillation, the same words but sung spiraling into ritual, into rhythm, into the trembling of flesh and spirit. Each note is a stitch in the fabric of cosmos, each melody a bridge between chaos and order. Yajur Veda slashes the air with instructions, rites, formulas. You feel it in your bones. Every ritual is a careful threading, a knife's edge between mortality and the infinite. You read it and your skull hums. It's mathematics, it's devotion, it's trying to hold the universe in your hands while it wriggles free. And Atharva Veda, it is the shadow, the pulse behind the walls, the half-whispered spells, the medicine, the charms, the fear, the longing. It is human, dirty, fragile, aware that fire burns and bodies fail, that the world is beautiful and doomed, and still we chant, still we hope. The Vedas are not just texts. They are vibrations trapped in time. They are screams in rhythm. They are patterns we can barely hold. They want you to see, to feel, to tremble in the presence of something beyond yourself. They are ecstatic. They are terrifying. They are alive. 1. Rig Veda, the riot of hymns. Rig Veda erupts like a storm you can't predict. The hymns slam into the world, gods strung across sound like neon wires, sparks flying with every syllable. Agni, Indra, Varuna, they're not distant. They are roaring, writhing presences that cut through the human skull, asking questions no one can answer. The words pulse like electricity in the veins, a mixture of devotion, panic, and awe. Every meter fractures the mind. The universe is chaos, and yet here is sound trying to map it, trying to name it, trying to make it stop trembling long enough for us to see the pattern. Rig Veda is the heartbeat, fast, jagged, unrelenting, daring you to survive its intensity. If I should read slower in the comments, please let me know. 2. Samaveda, the music of cosmos. If Rig Veda is the storm, Samaveda is the echo dancing along the walls. It is sung, it is vibrating, it is oscillation made flesh. The words are the same, but the melody transforms them into bridges between earth and sky, between body and cosmos, between what is and what could be. You can feel it in your bones, the ritual chant, Every video I kind of stumble on my words, that means I should slow down. The repetition, the rhythm, it spirals, it coils, it lifts the air until it trembles in recognition. Samaveda is not just sound, it is architecture, scaffolding for the invisible, scaffolding for the mind to climb and perhaps break apart and rebuild. It is ecstasy and order, chaos dressed in symmetry, a lattice of vibration that hums with every nerve ending. 3. Yajur Veda, the edge of action. Yajur Veda cuts. It gives form, formula, motion. Here is ritual as skeleton, as machine, as knife's edge. Every action is precise, every syllable a tool, every instruction a thread attempting to stitch the infinite into a single, trembling body. You read it and the air vibrates. It demands attention. It won't wait. It is motion and text, a tense choreography between humans and cosmos, and you are both participant and witness. It is terrifying, beautiful, exacting. The universe is an impossible puzzle, and Yajur Veda hands you the pieces while the edges burn. 4. Atharvaveda, the whispered shadow. Atharvaveda creeps along the cracks. Medicine, charms, spells, fears, the half-whispered knowledge that everything is fragile, that every flame dies, that every body cracks. It is human in all its messy vulnerability, intimacy, dark, trembling. Here is the knowledge of mortality, the soft pulse beneath rituals, the quiet hum that says, we try, we hope, we survive, maybe. It is both mundane and sacred, a shadow echoing the storm of Rig Veda, the music of Samaveda, and the precision of Yajur Veda. It reminds you that the cosmos is not only infinite, it is intimate, terrifyingly close, and entirely alive.